Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and this will be the last one of the day. So we're going to make light of it. It's a nice little piece, and I think and hope that you'll appreciate it. And I do hope you'll appreciate it enough that if you are yet to subscribe, today is the day. We're moving on up nicely. We are spreading the word. More and more people are seeing the truth, and it's all down to people like yourselves hitting that subscribe button and liking the videos. So please do subscribe. We are political, and the algorithm pushes us down. You make all the difference. Now, we do have this wonderful little story, and I will begin by saying that proportional representation in the Scottish elections for Holyrood, this two-vote system, allows extremist parties to gain political power where they wouldn't otherwise get it, and it means that smaller parties end up proportionally with more power than they deserve. Now, that may sound like I'm having a moan about it, but that isn't me saying it. This comes from the horse's mouth. This is from Ian Smart. Ian Smart was the man who pushed and designed this two-vote system. And he's saying that the Greens have abused it, they've gamed the system, and they're getting an unfair advantage for such a small party. Let's have a look and see if he's right. Here goes. So, author of the Holyrood voting system makes strategic mistake claim as the Greens game the system. He says it shouldn't actually have been done because what's happened now is you're getting these Marxist extremists are now in government where normally and nominally they should never be anywhere near power. But because of the way the system was set up, designed to give more of a voice, but it now means that these tiny parties actually have far more say than what their election results should have given them. And it's wrong. And all I'm going to say is doesn't he look like some kind of weirdo out of Mad Max or something? Imagine him strapped to the front of a car racing across the desert. He's a weird looking man, isn't he? Anyway, Ian Smart, the lawyer, revealed that it was Scottish Greens who pushed for the two-vote system, which has left them wielding huge power. Despite meagre returns in the main constituency vote, they don't have a single constituency. And that's why I've always maintained as well that list votes should not be, people elected on a list vote should not be eligible to take a cabinet position. Sure, be a voice, be in the parliament, fine, be represented. But no cabinet position must be allowable to someone who is not a constituency MP or MSP, because you have no direct method of getting people out. You can't unelect, you can't recall a list MP, whereas something happens at or a list MP, I keep saying MP, MSP, but something happens in the constituency, there are rules in place and they can be recalled, and so for that ability alone there should be a limit to what people on the list members should do. And I don't think it's right and proper that a list MSP can be allowed to have the power of a cabinet position, because it's an awful lot of power for someone who may have got the tiniest percentage of the vote, but who's just literally scraped over the line and could end up being in the cabinet, wielding way more power than they should have. Anyway, one of the experts responsible for coming up with the voting system used in Scottish Parliament elections has said it was a strategic mistake by the bigger parties to allow two votes instead of one. Scots currently fill in two ballot papers using the additional member system. This sees a single member elected in constituencies and then other members handed seat in an effort to make Parliament more representative. But unfortunately, of course, it's represented now by Marxist extremists. There's no limit on who can get a seat. All they need is sufficient voting, not popular voting. There's a difference. Anyway, a mix of first past the post and proportional representation in Scotland sees a constituency and regional vote take place. However, it has been criticised in recent years, with the nationalist parties like the Scottish Greens able to game the system, winning numerous seats despite a lack of support in individual constituencies. And it also allows fringe parties to concentrate their efforts on winning regional MSPs, with Alex Salmond's Alba Party trying openly to use the system in 2021 to win an independent supermajority at Holyrood. Lawyer Ian Smart has now revealed it was the Scottish Greens who pushed for 2 votes in Scotland rather than the constituency votes being used to determine the regional makeup, which would have been fairer because each constituency within that region would have then given a constituency seat based on the whole block of that region. Much fairer system. And it keeps out mad Marxist extremists like the Greens. He said, lawyer Ian Smart has now revealed it was the Scottish Greens who pushed for this. Speaking on social media site X, he said, I was involved in this process from the outset. So he knows, here's the expert here. He said, indeed, with due modesty, I was one of the authors of the distinctive regional AMS model. 1 vote was the plan, until the Greens advocated 2 during the convention and other participants thought it would do no harm. This, he said, was a strategic error. The Greens currently have 8 MSPs, including 2 government ministers, despite winning less than 35,000 votes in the main constituency contest, with the party benefiting from SNP supporters lending a vote to try and create an independence majority. In contrast, the Lib Dems won more than 187,000 of the constituency vote, but ended up with just 4 MSPs. So what's that? 4 getting on for 5 times. In fact, it is 5 times more votes, and only getting half the number of seats. But that's why the Greens wanted it. They wanted to push this because they knew they would have no power without it. It does, I think, need to be addressed, looked at and changed, perhaps. Maybe that's something that can be looked at. Who knows? Anyway, Mr. Smart was responding to a piece in the Times by political commentator Kenny Farquharson, who said he had changed his mind on implementing PR at Westminster partly because of the disproportionate influence enjoyed by the Greens. He claims they were handed power by the SNP for no better reason than Nicola Sturgeon wanting a quiet life at Holyrood with less procedural drama. Adding, one look at the chaos caused by the Greens' priorities over the past couple of years is enough to raise serious doubt about whether this was wise. Well, it was clearly unwise. Look at the mess. Look at everything. And of course, they have now pulled the SNP, who are already socialist, but pulled them very, very extreme left, Marxist, dangerously left. And that, of course, is leading to the destruction of everything in Scotland because you have a party in control that hasn't got a clue. He also pointed out that the SNP was able to win a majority in 2011 with a minority of votes, despite the system being designed to actually prevent that. And neither the Scottish Greens nor Alba have ever won a constituency vote at Westminster or Holyrood in Scotland. Indeed, the only people there they've got are people who've crossed the floor. No one's won. And that's likely to remain the case. But the Greens are massively over-proportionally represented, over-proportionally powered, simply by dint of this 2-vote system that even the experts are saying now was a misstep, a mistake. It's something that needs to be corrected to remove that. But I think the simplest thing is just to say that weirdos like him who don't win a constituency cannot ever serve in the cabinet. And that would cut the legs off him. Not that he's got much left, but it cut the legs off him and remove his power. And he can sit there and he can whinge and he can whine, but he can do nothing about it. And he can stop peddling his hatred of all humanity. Disgusting little vertical turd of a man. Anyway, I shall come up, but not him. So let me know in the comments, do you think it should change? Do you think there should be proportional representation at all? Do you think that it should just be first past the post across the board? Or do you think there should be a mix, but it shouldn't be one that allows extremists into positions of authority and power? It's an interesting one. I don't know really whether to pro or against it. I can see the benefits both ways. Strong government if you go pro, bigger voice if you go against. Tough to call. Let me know what you think. And do please hit that subscribe button. We need to grow the channel, need to get the truth out there. And that can only be done by you good people hitting that button, liking the videos, spreading the word, and making us louder and further. Till tomorrow, thank you very much. That's the last of the long forms. There might be a flash video, but that's it for now. So until tomorrow, I bid you a good evening, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.